25. Weirdest celebrity mansions. Hollywood tried to hide. Welcome to Legends of Black Excellence, where we uncover the untold stories of Hollywood's most legendary figures. Did you know that some of the most iconic stars in Hollywood's history lived in mansions that were as wild and eccentric as their personalities? From secret rooms and hidden passageways to bizarre designs, these celebrity homes were the true reflection of their turbulent lives. But what dark secrets and untold stories are hidden behind these walls? Hit that subscribe button now and dive into the shocking world of Hollywood's elite. Don't forget to comment below what's the most mind-blowing fact you've heard so far. Howard Hughes. Howard Hughes was one of the most fascinating and enigmatic figures in Hollywood history. Born in 1905 in Texas, Hughes inherited a fortune from his family's oil business, and he used his wealth to fuel an eclectic array of passions. As a businessman, he was visionary pioneering in aviation with the creation of the Hughes H-4 Hercules, also known as the Spruce Goose, a massive aircraft that was ahead of its time. However, it was his eccentric behavior and obsessive tendencies that often overshadowed his professional accomplishments. Hughes's foray into Hollywood began with his production of films, including the 1930 hit Hell's Angels, a war film known for its cutting-edge aviation sequences. He became one of the most influential and powerful figures in the industry, owning RKO Pictures and launching the careers of numerous stars. However, as he rose to prominence in the 1930s and 40s, Hughes's personal life took a dark turn. His obsession with cleanliness, privacy, and control became more pronounced, and he withdrew from the public eye. He became increasingly paranoid to the point of installing hidden passageways and secret rooms in his Beverly Hills mansion to protect himself from imagined threats. Hughes's notorious isolation deepened over the years. He lived in a self-imposed prison, refusing to interact with the outside world. His mental health deteriorated, and his eccentricities became increasingly bizarre. Rumors circulated that he had an obsessive-compulsive disorder, and his fear of germs led him to retreat into increasingly confined spaces, such as his notorious room of isolation, where he lived for years without contact with anyone. After his death in 1976, Hughes's estate was sold and eventually demolished, but the stories surrounding his life and his strange, genius-like creativity continue to haunt Hollywood. His life serves as a poignant reminder of the dark side of genius and the toll that fame, fortune, and isolation can take on one's mind. Dolores Del Rio. Dolores Del Rio was a Mexican-American actress who became one of Hollywood's first Latina stars and a pioneering figure in the film industry. Born in 1904 in Durango, Mexico, Del Rio's striking beauty and sophisticated presence quickly made her one of the most sought-after actresses of the 1920s and 1930s. She made her Hollywood debut in 1925 and soon rose to fame, known for her exotic looks and sensual performances. Del Rio was often cast as the exotic woman, a role that played into the popular Hollywood fantasies of the time. Her career spanned both silent and sound films, but it was her transition to sound films that cemented her status as a star. Despite facing typecasting early in her career, Del Rio's talent and resilience helped her break free from these constraints. She became one of the first major Latina actresses to gain international fame. However, as her career in Hollywood began to slow down in the 1940s, Del Rio made the decision to return to Mexico, where she continued acting in films and remained a powerful figure in Mexican cinema. In Los Angeles, Del Rio's home, designed by famed architect Richard Neutra, stood as a symbol of both her personal and professional identity. The house embraced modernism, featuring sleek lines and an open design which contrasted with the ornate mansions favored by Hollywood's elite. Inside, Del Rio celebrated her Mexican heritage by filling the space with cultural artifacts, Mexican art, and antiques. It became a gathering place for creative minds, including frequent visits from figures like Diego Rivera and Frida Kahlo. Her home reflected a unique blend of modernism and cultural pride, representing her artistic spirit and intellectual curiosity. Del Rio's residence remains a testament to her legacy influencing both cinema and architectural design. Errol Flynn. Errol Flynn, known for his swashbuckling roles in films like Captain Blood and The Adventures of Robin Hood, was the embodiment of the Hollywood heartthrob during the 1930s and 1940s. Born in 1909 in Tasmania, Australia, Flynn's charisma, charm, and athleticism made him a star, and he quickly became a household name. His personal life was just as adventurous as the characters he portrayed on screen, and he was infamous for his numerous relationships, party-loving lifestyle, and frequent scandals, earning him a reputation as one of Hollywood's ultimate bad boys. Flynn's Mulholland Farm estate, located in the Hollywood Hills, was a fitting reflection of his larger-than-life persona. Built in the 1940s, the property was an expansive retreat featuring grand spaces and a playful, almost whimsical atmosphere. The estate had hidden rooms and secret passageways, one leading to a private bedroom, and even included a two-way mirror that allowed Flynn to observe guests without being seen. He also added a pistol range, indulging in his love for shooting, and a private bar where he entertained a colorful group of friends, often hosting raucous and lively gatherings. Despite his fame, Flynn's life was not without its troubles. As his career began to fade in the 1950s, he struggled with financial difficulties, health issues, and a reputation tarnished by personal scandals. Mulholland Farm, once a vibrant hub of Hollywood's elite, fell into disrepair, mirroring Flynn's own decline. The estate was eventually sold and demolished, but its legacy as the home of one of Hollywood's most iconic yet troubled stars lives on. The tales of Flynn's wild parties, secret rooms, and lavish lifestyle continue to captivate movie buffs and Hollywood historians, cementing the mansion as a symbol of the excesses and eventual fall of a true Hollywood legend. Mae West. Mae West, known for her bold wit, larger-than-life persona, and trailblazing role in Hollywood, was a star who never shied away from controversy. Born in 1893 in Brooklyn, New York, West quickly became one of the most iconic actresses of the early 20th century. She was unapologetically sexual and had a unique ability to blend humor and sensuality, which made her an unforgettable figure in both theater and film. Her notorious catchphrase, "When I'm good, I'm very good, but when I'm bad, I'm better," epitomized her carefree attitude and defiance of societal norms. Instead of opting for a grand mansion, Mae West preferred a more intimate and private residence. Her home in the Ravenswood building, located in the heart of Hollywood, was far more understated compared to the sprawling estates of other stars. Yet this modest apartment became the perfect canvas for West's extravagant personality. West famously decorated her space almost entirely in white, from plush carpets to sleek mirrored walls, creating a chic, striking atmosphere that perfectly complemented her image. One of the most iconic features of her apartment was her seashell-shaped bed, a symbol of her flamboyance and humor. West's apartment was filled with memorabilia from her storied career, flamboyant costumes, props, and photographs chronicling her rise to stardom. Despite her fame and wealth, West never felt the need to move to a grand estate. She lived on her own terms, refusing to follow the trends of Hollywood's elite. Rumors even circulated about her presence lingering in the Ravenswood long after her passing, with residents claiming to feel her presence in the halls. Whether or not these ghostly tales were true, Mae West's apartment remains a lasting testament to her fierce independence, wit, and bold personality, making it an unforgettable symbol of her legacy. Cary Grant. Cary Grant, often described as one of Hollywood's greatest leading men, was the epitome of class, charm, and sophistication. Born in 1904 in Bristol, England, Grant's career spanned over 3 decades, and he became known for his suave demeanor, impeccable timing, and versatility as an actor. He starred in numerous classic films, including notorious The Philadelphia Story and North by Northwest, often playing dashing, sophisticated characters with a sense of humor and grace that captivated audiences. Grant's personal life, like his cinematic roles, was a mix of elegance and complexity. He lived in several homes over his life, but one of the most notable was his Beverly Hills retreat built in the late 1930s. Unlike the extravagant estates of other Hollywood stars, Grant's residence was a tranquil sanctuary that reflected his refined yet playful personality. Hidden behind tall hedges and an unassuming gate, the home blended luxury with simplicity. Inside, the decor was understated yet charming, with a tasteful combination of comfort and elegance. The home's most intriguing feature was a secret alcove hidden behind a library shelf, rumored to be a passage to a private study or a whimsical hideaway reflecting Grant's love for both elegance and light-hearted amusement. The property also featured a lush, carefully maintained garden, which provided a peaceful retreat from the chaos of Hollywood life. Grant, known for hosting intimate gatherings, used the space to entertain close friends in a relaxed, private setting, quite a contrast to the public, glamorous soirees attended by other stars. Though Grant eventually moved from this home, its mystique continued to linger in Beverly Hills lore. Today, the house serves as a quiet reminder of one of Hollywood's most beloved figures. Cary Grant's home, much like the man himself, was a perfect blend of elegance, wit, and charm, offering a rare glimpse into the life of a man who effortlessly balanced the pressures of fame with his desire for privacy and peace. Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage, known for his eccentric roles and unpredictable career choices, has always had a flair for the unconventional both in his acting and his real estate ventures. Born in 1964 in Long Beach, California, Cage became an iconic Hollywood actor starring in films like Leaving Las Vegas National Treasure and Face Off. His career skyrocketed, making him one of the highest-paid actors of his generation. However, Cage's extravagant lifestyle and unique property acquisitions, including a number of rare and unusual homes, added to his legendary status. One of his most infamous real estate purchases was the haunted Laurie Mansion in New Orleans. This historic estate, built in the 1830s, is infamous for its dark and eerie past. The mansion's previous owner, Madame Deline Laurie, was notorious for committing horrific acts, including the torture and imprisonment of enslaved individuals. The mansion, with its history of atrocities, quickly earned the reputation of being one of the most haunted locations in the United States. Fascinated by its grim past, Cage bought the mansion in 2007, reportedly drawn to its supernatural aura and historical significance. He even mentioned using it as inspiration for a horror novel, though such a book never materialized. Cage's connection to the mansion, however, was far from peaceful. After a series of financial troubles and legal battles, the mansion was seized by the authorities in 2009 due to unpaid taxes, adding another bizarre chapter to Cage's career. Despite his ownership and the mansion's grim history, rumors of ghostly occurrences persisted, with locals claiming to have seen shadowy figures and heard disembodied voices echoing through the halls. While Cage has long since moved on from the mansion, its reputation as a haunted symbol of his eccentricity endures. John Barrymore. John Barrymore, one of Hollywood's most celebrated actors during the golden age of cinema, was a man of great talent, charisma, and tragedy. Born in 1882, Barrymore was part of the famed Barrymore acting family and became one of the most renowned stage and film actors of his time. His career spanned both silent films and talkies, with iconic performances in films such as Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde and Grand Hotel. Barrymore was known for his powerful, voice-striking looks and dramatic flair, which made him one of Hollywood's leading men during the early part of the 20th century. Barrymore's home, the Bella Vista Estate in Beverly Hills, was a grand and fitting reflection of his artistic and intellectual spirit. Built in the 1920s, the estate was known for its elegance and grandeur, showcasing Barrymore's taste for the dramatic. The home featured an expansive library filled with rare books and hidden compartments within the walls, reflecting his love for literature and theater. The estate also had Gothic-style furnishings, dark wood panels and dramatic lighting, providing a backdrop that was both stylish and brooding. The house's private stage, designed for rehearsals, was a personal touch that underscored Barrymore's passion for acting and classical theater. This space allowed him to practice his Shakespearean roles, even performing for a small circle of close friends. Barrymore's beloved animals, including a monkey and a parrot, roamed freely through the house, adding an element of whimsy to the otherwise dramatic and grand surroundings. However, as his career declined and personal struggles intensified, including health problems and financial difficulties, Barrymore's once grand estate became a painful reminder of his fall from grace. By the 1930s, he was forced to sell Bella Vista, and the property changed hands several times before being demolished. The house may no longer stand, but its legacy remains as a poignant symbol of Barrymore's immense talent, the tragedies of his personal life, and the fleeting nature of fame in Hollywood's early days. Hedy Lamarr. Hedy Lamarr was an Austrian-American actress, inventor, and pioneer in both the film industry and technological innovation. Born in 1914 in Vienna, Lamarr initially gained fame as a glamorous film star during Hollywood's golden age, captivating audiences with her striking beauty and talent. She became one of the highest-paid actresses of the 1930s, known for her roles in films like Algiers 1938 and Samson and Delilah 1949. However, Lamarr was more than just a screen siren. She was a visionary inventor whose work, though largely unrecognized at the time, would go on to have a lasting impact on technology. Lamarr's Hollywood home, nestled in the Hollywood Hills, was a reflection of her contrasting worlds, one of beauty and fame, the other of intellectual curiosity and innovation. The sleek, modern design of her house mirrored her Hollywood persona with its minimalist decor and spacious interiors. While her peers were attending lavish premieres, Lamarr spent much of her time in a private workshop within her home where she worked on her groundbreaking ideas. In the early 1940s, Lamarr co-invented a frequency-hopping technology that was intended to prevent the jamming of torpedo guidance systems during World War II. Although the invention was initially overlooked, it would later form the basis for modern wireless communication technologies, including Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. Lamarr's home served as a sanctuary where she could escape the glitz of Hollywood and immerse herself in her inventive work. It was a space that allowed her to thrive in both her artistic and intellectual endeavors, a testament to her brilliance beyond the screen. Though her technological contributions were largely ignored in her lifetime, her legacy as an inventor is now celebrated, showing the world that beauty and intelligence are not mutually exclusive. James Dean. James Dean, the iconic actor who became a symbol of youthful rebellion, remains one of the most beloved and tragic figures in Hollywood history. Born in 1931 in Marion, Indiana, Dean's career was brief but intense, spanning only a few years. His portrayal of troubled, misunderstood teenagers in films like East of Eden 1955, Rebel Without a Cause 1955, and Giant 1956 made him a cultural icon. His signature role as Jim Stark in Rebel Without a Cause captured the angst and alienation of a generation, cementing his status as the epitome of 1950s youth. Dean's final home, a modest bungalow in Sherman Oaks, California, reflected his desire for privacy and solitude away from the bright lights of Hollywood. Unlike the grand estates of many other stars, Dean's home was an unassuming retreat that provided him with the peace he craved in the face of his fame. Inside the bungalow was simple, yet it captured the essence of Dean's introspective nature. He spent his time sketching, reading scripts, and experimenting with bongos, showing a creative side that extended beyond acting. James Dean's prized possession was his Porsche 550 Spyder, which he kept in the garage of his home. Tragically, the car would gain infamy after Dean's fatal accident in 1955, cementing the vehicle's place in his legacy. Despite its unpretentious nature, the bungalow was where Dean sought refuge from the pressures of fame. It became a sanctuary, a place where he could briefly escape the world and try to find peace in a life that was ultimately cut short. Today, his home remains a poignant time capsule, a reminder of the young man who would never see the full extent of his legacy, but whose impact on pop culture continues to resonate. Jayne Mansfield. Jayne Mansfield, the blonde bombshell of Hollywood's golden era, was known for her striking beauty, sultry voice, and larger-than-life personality. Born in 1933 in Bryn Mawr, Pennsylvania, Mansfield became one of the most iconic sex symbols of the 1950s, frequently compared to Marilyn Monroe. She rose to fame through a combination of acting her larger-than-life public persona and her penchant for sensationalism. Her roles in films such as Will Success Spoil Rock Hunter 1957 and The Girl Can't Help It 1956 cemented her as a Hollywood darling, and her glamorous image was often in the spotlight. Mansfield's home, the infamous Pink Palace in Los Angeles, was a direct reflection of her flamboyant personality. Built in the late 1950s, the house stood out from the rest with its eye-popping bubblegum pink exterior. It was an unapologetic statement of individuality, matching Mansfield's desire to carve out her unique space in a town that often tried to fit stars into specific molds. Inside the house was an explosion of color and drama, mirroring the starlet herself. Among the standout features was the heart-shaped swimming pool, which featured a mosaic reading, "I love you, Janie," showcasing her playful, affectionate nature. The Pink Palace was more than just a home. It was a symbol of Mansfield's defiance of Hollywood norms. It also became a hotspot for legendary parties where the elite of Hollywood gathered to celebrate life in true Jane Mansfield fashion. Yet despite her extravagant lifestyle and iconic image, Mansfield's life was tragically short. She died in a car crash in 1967 at just 34 years old, and the Pink Palace was eventually demolished in the early 2000s. However, its vibrant memory lives on as a testament to a woman who was never afraid to be bold, brash, and entirely her own. Buster Keaton. Buster Keaton, one of the greatest comedic actors of the silent film era, was known for his deadpan expression, impeccable timing, and inventive physical comedy. Born in 1895 in Piqua, Kansas, Keaton became a legend in early Hollywood with films like The General 1926 and Sherlock Jr. 1924, which showcased his incredible stunts and masterful use of visual storytelling. Keaton was famous for performing many of his own stunts, often putting himself in dangerous situations for the sake of comedy, and his films are still considered some of the finest in cinematic history. Keaton's personal life, however, was less comedic and more filled with turmoil, which was reflected in his sprawling Beverly Hills estate, known as the Beverly Hills House, or sometimes referred to as the Keaton Estate. Built in the 1920s, the mansion was an elaborate 20-room structure that seemed to embody the creative genius of the silent film star. The estate was designed to match Keaton's inventive and playful nature, featuring a Roman-style pool, a tranquil trout stream, and an aviary that housed exotic birds. These whimsical touches reflected Keaton's love for creativity and his desire to inject fun and imagination into every aspect of his life. Among the home's more fascinating features was a hidden bar that transformed into a private screening room, allowing Keaton to indulge in his love for films in a private and intimate setting. As his career declined, however, Keaton faced financial troubles, and the once vibrant estate fell into disrepair. The grand property became a poignant reminder of his struggles during the later years of his life. Despite losing his beloved home and enduring personal hardships, Keaton's legacy as one of the greatest filmmakers and comedic geniuses of all time endures. Today, his Beverly Hills mansion may no longer stand, but it remains an emblem of Keaton's unique contribution to film and his enduring creative spirit. Marion Davies. Marion Davies, a silent film star turned socialite, was one of Hollywood's brightest stars during the 1920s and 1930s. Born in 1897 in New York, Davies was discovered by film mogul William Randolph Hearst, who became both her lover and her financial backer. She starred in a series of films, becoming known for her comedic timing, beauty, and charm, appearing in films like The Patsy, 1928, and Show People, 1928. Despite her fame, much of her career was overshadowed by her relationship with Hearst, and her legacy has often been entwined with his larger-than-life influence on Hollywood. One of the most notable chapters of Davies' life was her lavish residence, a sprawling oceanfront estate in Santa Monica, which became a symbol of both her star power and her dependence on Hearst's wealth. Built in the 1920s with Hearst's financial backing, the estate was a palace by the sea, complete with over 100 rooms, 55 bathrooms, and 37 fireplaces. It was a grand showcase of wealth and excess, designed to reflect the opulence of Hollywood's elite during its golden age. The centerpiece of the estate was an enormous 110-foot pool surrounded by marble statues and lush greenery, offering a breathtaking view of the ocean. Davies's home was also a place of entertaining, where she hosted extravagant parties that drew the likes of Winston Churchill, Charlie Chaplin, and other major figures. However, despite the glamour and high society, the mansion was a constant reminder of her complex relationship with Hearst, whose controlling nature often overshadowed her own career ambitions. By the 1930s, Hearst's financial troubles began to take a toll, and by the 1950s, the mansion was demolished, leaving behind only the guest house and the pool. The remnants of her grand estate serve as a bittersweet reminder of the price of fame, fortune, and love in Hollywood. Aaron Spelling. Aaron Spelling, one of the most prolific television producers of the 20th century, is best known for creating some of the most iconic shows in television history, including Beverly Hills 90210 Dynasty and Charlie's Angels. Born in 1923 in Dallas, Texas, Spelling's rise to fame was rooted in his creative genius and ability to craft popular TV series that resonated with audiences. His shows defined the culture of the 1980s and 1990s with their high-drama storylines and glamorous settings. Spelling's success allowed him to accumulate immense wealth, which he invested in one of the most famous celebrity homes of all time. In 1988, Spelling and his wife Candy moved into the Manor, a sprawling estate located in Holmby Hills, Los Angeles. This 500-square-foot mansion was nothing short of extraordinary, far exceeding the size of most celebrity homes. With over 100 rooms, the manor was designed as a lavish palace boasting every luxury imaginable, from a bowling alley and beauty salon to a museum dedicated to Spelling's extensive doll collection. The sheer scale of the property made it feel less like a home and more like a grand hotel with sprawling halls and elaborate decor. The house was a reflection of Spelling's larger-than-life persona, embodying his taste for excess and opulence. Each room was carefully curated, reflecting his penchant for luxurious touches and extravagant details. The manor's design was not just about size. It was a testament to Spelling's creative vision and the fame he achieved in Hollywood. However, despite the grandeur, the estate was also a private sanctuary for Spelling and his family, offering them both comfort and seclusion. The manor stands as one of the most iconic residences in Hollywood, a symbol of Aaron Spelling's immense success and his ability to create a legacy both on-screen and off. And today, the manor is a historical landmark preserved as a monument to Spelling's creative genius and his penchant for the dramatic, making it one of Hollywood's most extravagant, unforgettable homes. Douglas Fairbanks. Douglas Fairbanks was one of the most iconic figures of the silent film era, a swashbuckling star whose athleticism, charisma, and adventurous spirit captured the hearts of audiences worldwide. Born in 1883 in Denver, Colorado, Fairbanks quickly rose to fame with his dashing roles in films like The Thief of Baghdad, 1924, and Robin Hood, 1922, where his acrobatic stunts and bold performances established him as a leading man in Hollywood. He was one of the founding members of United Artists, alongside Charlie Chaplin, Mary Pickford, and D.W. Griffith, solidifying his influence not just as an actor, but also as a visionary in the business side of the film industry. Fairbanks's personal life was as grand as his on-screen persona. His sprawling estate, Fairbanks Ranch, located in Santa Monica, was a testament to his success and love for luxury. The estate was a private sanctuary offering both grandeur and solitude, and was set against a picturesque backdrop of lush gardens, a serene private lake, and an elegant boathouse. Fairbanks, known for his love of sports and adventure, transformed the property into an athlete's paradise, complete with a state-of-the-art gym and tennis courts where Hollywood's elite could gather for lively matches. One of the most fascinating features of Fairbanks Ranch was a secret underground tunnel that connected the main house to the boathouse. Whether used to evade reporters or as part of Fairbanks's love for theatricality, the tunnel added an air of mystery to the estate. As his career waned with the rise of talkies and his marriage to Mary Pickford ended, Fairbanks retreated more frequently to the estate, finding comfort in its beauty and seclusion. Today, though, the property has been subdivided and developed. The legend of Fairbanks Ranch lives on as a symbol of Hollywood's golden age and the adventurous spirit of one of its earliest superstars. Alla Nazimova. Alla Nazimova, born in 1879 in Yalta, Ukraine, was one of the most innovative and avant-garde figures in early Hollywood. A Russian-born actress-director and screenwriter, Nazimova made a significant impact on the American film industry during the silent film era, known for her intense performances and dramatic style. She was also a pioneer of feminist cinema, pushing the boundaries of film in ways that were unheard of at the time. She moved to the United States in the early 1900s and quickly became a major star in Broadway and silent films, with notable roles in Salome 1923 and A Doll's House 1922. Nazimova's most famous residence was the Garden of Allah, a sprawling estate located on Sunset Boulevard in Hollywood. Acquired in the 1910s, she transformed the property into a bohemian retreat that became a sanctuary for the avant-garde intellectuals, artists, and writers who flocked to Hollywood in the early days of cinema. The estate consisted of villas and gardens with an enchanting swimming pool designed to evoke the Black Sea, reflecting Nazimova's Russian heritage. The Garden of Allah was a place of creative freedom, where famous figures like F. Scott Fitzgerald, Greta Garbo, and Errol Flynn spent time indulging in decadent gatherings and embracing the free-spirited atmosphere. While the estate embodied Nazimova's unique artistic vision, it was also a symbol of her personal struggles. Financial difficulties eventually forced her to sell the property in the 1920s, and the Garden of Allah was later converted into a hotel. By the 1950s, the once vibrant retreat had faded into history and was eventually demolished to make way for a strip mall. Despite the loss of the estate, Nazimova's influence on Hollywood and the arts endures. She is remembered not just for her dramatic performances, but for her boldness in creating a space where unconventional ideas and artistic expression could thrive. Her home remains a symbol of the freedom and creativity that defined early Hollywood, even as it was lost to time. Charlie Chaplin. Charlie Chaplin, the legendary comedian and filmmaker, is widely regarded as one of the most influential figures in the history of cinema. Born in 1889 in London, England, Chaplin's career spanned silent films and talkies, and he became famous for his creation of the beloved character, the Tramp, a bumbling yet endearing figure who captured the hearts of audiences around the world. Known for his incredible physical comedy, Chaplin was also a master of storytelling, often combining slapstick humor with deep social commentary, as seen in his films City Lights 1931 and Modern Times 1936. He was not only an actor, but also a director, composer, and producer, revolutionizing the film industry with his multifaceted talents. Chaplin's personal life was as colorful as his career. He resided in Beverly Hills, where his home reflected his unique blend of creativity and modesty. Built in the 1920s, his residence was not as grand as many of his Hollywood peers, but was imbued with quirks that reflected Chaplin's personality. The property featured a hidden tunnel leading to a private wine cellar, providing him a means to escape the relentless paparazzi. Chaplin's love for whimsical designs was reflected in his home's garden, which featured playful sculptures and fountains that brought his lighthearted and imaginative spirit to life. During the politically turbulent McCarthy era, Chaplin found himself at odds with the American government, eventually leaving the country in 1952 amid accusations of being a communist sympathizer. His Beverly Hills home continued to be a place where he could recharge and reflect, even as his fame and influence grew. Today, Chaplin's home is a cherished part of Hollywood history, symbolizing a man whose creativity, charm, and humor shaped the film industry forever. It stands as a quiet tribute to the man who captured the world's attention with his silent films and unforgettable antics. Gloria Swanson. Gloria Swanson was one of the most captivating and glamorous stars of the silent film era, known for her powerful performances and remarkable beauty. Born in 1899 in Chicago, Swanson became one of the highest-paid actresses of the 1920s and 1930s, starring in films like Sunset Boulevard 1950, which cemented her status as a cinematic icon. Her rise to fame was characterized by her ability to portray complex characters, and her performances often conveyed deep emotion, making her one of the greatest actresses of her time. However, her career was also marked by personal struggles and a complex relationship with fame. Swanson's home in Beverly Hills, known as Casa del Sol, was a reflection of her dramatic and extravagant personality. Built in the 1920s, the mansion was a stunning example of Spanish Moorish architecture, with arched doorways, intricate tiles, and a private chapel that added an air of mystique to the estate. Swanson's love for the luxurious and the unique was evident in the treasures she collected from around the world. Her home was filled with rare artifacts, including ancient Egyptian treasures and antique pieces from different cultures, reflecting her sophisticated tastes and love for the exotic. Though her career in Hollywood began to fade with the rise of sound films, Swanson's mansion remained a symbol of her former grandeur and status. As her star dimmed, the house became a retreat where she could escape from the public eye. Despite the lavish parties and glamorous gatherings that once took place in the grand halls, the mansion became quieter, mirroring Swanson's personal retreat from the Hollywood scene. In the 1930s, due to financial challenges, Swanson was forced to sell Casa del Sol, and over time, the mansion passed through several owners. Today, the home is no longer standing, but its legacy lives on as a vivid part of Hollywood lore, a symbol of both Swanson's dazzling success and the fading moments of Hollywood's golden age. Harold Lloyd. Harold Lloyd, often regarded as one of the greatest silent film comedians, made an indelible mark on Hollywood, with his daring stunts and inventive slapstick comedy. Born in 1893 in Burchard, Nebraska, Lloyd's rise to fame began in the 1910s and 1920s, when his blend of physical humor and a relatable everyman character earned him a massive following. Unlike Charlie Chaplin's tramp or Buster Keaton's stone-faced antics, Lloyd's persona was that of a cheerful, ambitious young man who overcame obstacles with a combination of charm and determination. His best-known works, such as Safety Last, 1923, where he famously dangles from a clock tower, exemplified his remarkable ability to mix physical comedy with thrilling stunts. Lloyd's personal life, however, was often far more tumultuous. His home in Beverly Hills, known as Green Acres, was a lavish estate that reflected both his immense success and his love for creativity. The sprawling 15-acre property was a stunning testament to his achievements in Hollywood, with an enormous 50-foot-long living room, breathtaking fountains, and manicured gardens. Green Acres had a certain whimsy that matched Lloyd's comedic style, with a private zoo and a 9-hole golf course that often served as a retreat for Hollywood's elite. The estate's most intriguing feature was a secret room which Lloyd used to store his vast collection of film memorabilia. The room was a treasure trove of silent film history, housing rare items and artifacts that were a tribute to Lloyd's career. Unfortunately, as the golden age of silent film gave way to talkies, Lloyd's star began to fade, and by the 1970s, much of Green Acres was sold off. Though the property is no longer standing, the legacy of Harold Lloyd and his playful yet ambitious spirit remains in Hollywood history. Clark Gable. Clark Gable, known as the King of Hollywood, was one of the most celebrated actors of his time, embodying charm, strength, and sophistication in his roles. Born in 1901 in Cadiz, Ohio, Gable's rise to fame was swift, and his charismatic performances in films like It Happened One Night, 1934, and Gone with the Wind, 1939, solidified him as one of the greatest screen actors in Hollywood history. Gable's rugged good looks and smooth yet authoritative presence on screen made him an enduring icon, and he quickly became one of the highest-paid actors of his era. Gable's personal life was marked by high-profile relationships, including his marriage to actress Carole Lombard, whose tragic death in a plane crash in 1942 profoundly affected him. His home, a secluded ranch in Encino, California, reflected his desire for privacy and tranquility, away from the incessant public scrutiny that accompanied his fame. The ranch, built in the 1930s, was modest compared to other Hollywood estates, but it offered Gable the peace he sought during both his personal grief and his declining career. The property was characterized by its rustic, understated beauty, with expansive fields, stables for Gable's beloved horses, and a quiet, simple elegance that was reflective of his grounded nature. Gable preferred spending time at his ranch, often enjoying the solitude and fresh air, far removed from the glitz of Hollywood parties and the red carpets of premieres. After Lombard's tragic death, the ranch became a place of deep emotional significance for Gable, where he found solace and healing. The estate, though no longer in Gable's possession, remains a testament to the actor's quiet life outside of the spotlight, where he could retreat and live away from the demands of fame. Today, Gable's ranch continues to symbolize the enduring allure of a man whose fame did not define his personal longing for peace and solitude. Rudolph Valentino. Rudolph Valentino, born in 1895 in Italy, was one of the most iconic silent film stars of the 1920s, best known for his romantic roles that captured the hearts of millions. His striking good looks, passionate performances, and sensuality made him the first true Latin lover of Hollywood, and his early death cemented his place as a legend. Valentino's fame reached its peak with films like The Sheik 1921, which made him a global superstar and turned him into a cultural phenomenon. His intense on-screen charisma captivated audiences, particularly women, and he became a symbol of both desire and mystery. Valentino's home, Falcon Lair, located in the exclusive Beverly Crest area of Los Angeles, was a grand reflection of his dramatic and passionate persona. The mansion was designed to evoke the romance of medieval Europe, combining Gothic architecture with luxurious Hollywood grandeur. The sprawling property featured lush gardens, arched doorways, and a sweeping staircase that gave it an almost otherworldly aura, fitting for a man whose personal life was as captivating as his films. Sadly, Valentino's time at Falcon Lair was tragically brief. After moving into the estate, he poured both his passion and his wealth into the property, hoping it would be a peaceful retreat away from the pressures of fame. However, just months after moving in, Valentino tragically died of peritonitis in 1926 at the age of 31, leaving the mansion to become a shrine for his adoring fans. The estate was subsequently sold, and in the early 2000s, Falcon Lair was demolished. However, its legacy endures through the legend of Valentino, whose allure both on and off-screen continues to captivate the imagination of generations. Falcon Lair remains a haunting reminder of the fleeting nature of fame and the tragic loss of one of Hollywood's brightest stars. Mary Pickford. Mary Pickford, often called America's sweetheart, was one of the most successful and influential actresses of the silent film era. Born in 1892 in Toronto, Canada, she became a superstar with her roles in films like Pollyanna 1920 and Coquette 1929, which earned her the first Academy Award for Best Actress. Known for her youthful appearance and charming, innocent persona, Pickford captured the hearts of audiences around the world. She was also a savvy businesswoman and co-founded the United Artists Film Studio alongside Charlie Chaplin, D.W. Griffith, and Douglas Fairbanks, solidifying her as not only a beloved star, but also an influential figure in Hollywood's early development. Her home, Pickfair, located in Beverly Hills, was as grand as her legacy. Built in the 1920s, the mansion was a stunning example of luxury, featuring 42 rooms, a private swimming pool, and beautiful gardens. Pickfair was the epitome of Hollywood glamour, and it quickly became one of the most famous celebrity homes of its time, attracting stars from both film and high society. Pickford, known for her graceful and elegant style, filled the mansion with rare antiques and artworks, creating a home that was both sophisticated and warm. Despite its grandeur, Pickfair was not just a showpiece. After her marriage to Fairbanks ended in the 1930s, Pickford retreated more into private life, finding solace in the familiar surroundings of Pickfair. By the 1990s, Pickfair had been sold and passed through several owners before it was ultimately demolished in 1990. The estate may no longer exist, but its name remains synonymous with the height of early Hollywood elegance and the golden age of cinema. Mary Pickford's legacy continues to shine brightly both in her iconic films and in the lasting impact she had on Hollywood as a pioneering actress and businesswoman. Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson, a name synonymous with raw power and dominance in the boxing ring, was born in 1966 in Brooklyn, New York. Rising to fame in the late 1980s, Tyson became the youngest heavyweight champion in history at the age of 20. His aggressive fighting style, coupled with his lightning-fast reflexes and intimidating presence, made him a formidable force in the sport, earning him the title of Iron Mike. Tyson's career was filled with both triumphs and controversies, including his infamous ear-biting incident during his fight with Evander Holyfield in 1997, but his legacy in boxing remains undeniable. Tyson's lavish lifestyle during his peak years was reflected in his real estate choices, most notably his sprawling mansion in Southington, Ohio. The 25,000-square-foot estate, often referred to as his Gold Palace, was a true reflection of his larger-than-life persona. The mansion, adorned with gold accents, boasted luxurious features such as a gold-plated jacuzzi, an indoor pool, and custom tiger cages that housed his beloved white Bengal tigers. The mansion became a symbol of his immense fortune and wild lifestyle, which included parties, training sessions, and moments of excess. However, Tyson's financial troubles and legal issues soon caught up with him, and by the early 2000s, his once prized mansion was abandoned. The property fell into disrepair, with marble floors covered in dust and weeds overtaking the previously pristine landscape. In a twist of fate, the mansion was later purchased and transformed into a church, giving it a new purpose after Tyson's bankruptcy and personal challenges. Despite the mansion's fall from grandeur, it remains a striking reminder of Tyson's meteoric rise and dramatic fall from grace, representing both the highs and lows of fame. John Travolta. John Travolta, born in 1954 in Englewood, New Jersey, is one of Hollywood's most enduring stars with a career spanning over 5 decades. He first captured the public's attention in the 1970s with his role in Saturday Night Fever 1977, which catapulted him into stardom and made him a cultural icon. Known for his smooth dance moves and charismatic presence, Travolta cemented his place in Hollywood with subsequent hits like Grease 1978 and Pulp Fiction 1994, showcasing his versatility as an actor. Travolta's personal life, especially his love of aviation, has always been closely tied to his identity. His home in Jumbo Lair Aviation Estates, Florida, reflects his passion for flying, making it one of the most unique celebrity homes in Hollywood. Located in a high-end community designed for aviation enthusiasts, Travolta's mansion is nestled beside a private runway, allowing him to park his prized Boeing 707 jet right outside his front door. This aviation-centric setup makes Travolta's home more like an airstrip than a traditional mansion, with the ability to take off and land from his property at any time, bypassing commercial airports entirely. In addition to the private runway and jet hangars, Travolta's home is a luxurious sanctuary, featuring sprawling grounds and elegant design that aligns with his Hollywood status. The property allows him to indulge in both the adventure of flying and the comfort of high-end living, creating a perfect blend of lifestyle and passion. Travolta's home serves as a reflection of his life, one that balances the glamour of Hollywood with a genuine love for aviation and adventure. It is a testament to his success and his desire to live life on his own terms, combining his personal and professional passions in a home unlike any other in Hollywood. William Randolph Hearst. William Randolph Hearst, one of the most powerful media moguls in American history, built an empire that would change the face of journalism forever. Born in 1863, Hearst inherited a vast fortune from his father, and by the early 20th century, he was the owner of Hearst Communications, a vast media conglomerate that included newspapers, magazines, and radio stations. His influence in shaping public opinion through the media was unparalleled, and he became infamous for his sensationalist approach to journalism, often using his publications to push his own political and personal agendas. Hearst's most famous residence, Hearst Castle, located on the central coast of California, was a physical representation of his immense wealth power and taste for opulence. Construction of the estate began in the 1910s and continued for decades, transforming a remote hilltop into a sprawling 165-room mansion with lush gardens, a private zoo, and multiple swimming pools. The architecture of Hearst Castle reflected a blend of Mediterranean and European styles with imported pieces of art, antique tapestries, and ornate ceilings from Spanish cathedrals. One of its most famous features was the Neptune Pool, an extravagant swimming pool with real gold inlaid tiles that epitomized Hearst's extravagant lifestyle. Despite his immense success, Hearst's life was also marked by personal struggles. His relationship with actress Marion Davies was well known, and his wealth and influence sometimes overshadowed her own career ambitions. As the Great Depression took hold in the 1930s, Hearst's fortune began to wane. By the 1940s, he was forced to sell off parts of his art collection and other properties. Today, Hearst Castle is a state park and serves as a tourist attraction, reminding visitors of the grandeur of Hearst's empire. Its remaining rooms and lavish decor continue to showcase Hearst's indomitable influence on the media and his extravagant tastes both in business and life. Jean Harlow. Jean Harlow, often called the blonde bombshell, was one of the most iconic stars of the 1930s, whose career embodied the glitz and glamour of Hollywood's golden age. Born in 1911 in Kansas City, Missouri, Harlow became one of the most celebrated actresses of the early sound era, known for her sultry looks, her breathy voice, and her comedic timing. She starred in a string of successful films, including Red Dust, 1932, and Hell's Angels, 1930, becoming one of the highest-paid actresses of her time. Harlow's personal life was equally captivating, marked by tumultuous relationships and a tragic early death. She was married 3 times, and her short life was marred by personal and health struggles. Despite her fame, Harlow's life was cut short in 1937 when she died at just 26 from kidney failure, leaving behind a legacy of unforgettable performances and a persona that still resonates today. Harlow's most famous home was her Beverly Hills estate, a beautiful Spanish-style mansion that reflected both her glamorous Hollywood image and her more private, introspective side. Her home, though smaller than some of her peers, was filled with elegance and charm, with a graceful blend of Spanish architecture and Hollywood luxury. Harlow loved to entertain, and her home became the setting for intimate gatherings with friends and fellow stars, including Clark Gable, with whom she famously had a close relationship. Tragically, her life and career were cut short, and Harlow's estate, like many Hollywood legends, was eventually sold. Today, her mansion no longer exists, but the memory of her home and her unique place in Hollywood history lives on. Jean Harlow remains one of the most enduring icons of early cinema, and her home serves as a symbol of the glimmering star she was forever remembered for her beauty talent and the mysterious allure that surrounded her life. Hollywood has always been a land of glamour, but behind the scenes, some of its most iconic stars lived in homes that reflected their eccentricities, secrets, and ultimate legacies. From the grandiosity of Hearst Castle to Jean Harlow's more intimate estate, these celebrities built more than just mansions. They created reflections of their own personal empires, struggles, and ambitions. But as we look at these stories of extravagant homes, one question remains. What do these homes truly reveal about the people who inhabited them, and how do they shape the legacies of Hollywood's greatest legends? Join the conversation below. What's your take on the link between a star's home and their fame? Let's discuss.